Chapter 16 deals with retailing, wholesaling, and logistics. This is going to be a pretty quick overview because these are areas, and I want to, if we get more time, I want to talk a little bit more about J.C. Penney and their troubles. But we'll hit the main points here. Here's some chapter questions. Retailing, we all have experience with this. If not working there, for sure, we have had experience as consumers. Stores we like, stores we don't like, for an infinite variety of reasons. That's what makes retailing kind of it's tough business. Let's put it that way. There is, and it's not in your book, but I will find it for you if I don't remind me. There's a concept in marketing called the wheel, W-H-E-E-L, wheel. There's not another E in there. Wheel of retailing, which kind of talks or attempts to describe the changes or progress that, or evolution in a certain sense, that retailing goes through. Long story short, there's nothing new under the sun. It's just a constant reinvention, and but it's kind of fascinating discussion. But we'll hit on a few of these things. So it goes through long definitions of retail types. I'm not going to bore you with explanations of those. You can read. But I would say this: combinations in stores selling things that you would not have thought they would have sold in the past, but they've identified opportunities in an attempt to get per square foot as much revenue out of a store as possible. Consider this. I don't know if you don't go into Menards, you should, because that's where tools and stuff are and you can build things. But Menards has groceries and motor oil and things like that, things that you would not, and decorations for Christmas and Halloween and things associated with those two holidays. What in the heck has that got to do with a hardware store? Now, I can kind of see the motor oil, but groceries, you can buy milk, dog food. Well, they've identified opportunities. So the rules aren't quite as hard and fast as they used to be. Levels. Here, how would you answer that question? This is one of the things that I do if we get time next week or down the road. I'll point you to the resources, the discussion about the ouster of a former Apple employee who was the CEO of J.C. Penney's and kind of where they're headed. It would be interesting discussion. Anyway, I'll get that stuff. We'll do it. But full service to self-service, it's what are they willing to pay for? How much value is added between those 2 points? Are you willing to pay for a full service, for example, travel agent anymore? I was searching for the word, I finally found it. You're willing to pay for that. Is that something that you know? Not anymore. Now it's self-service has driven, that price point has driven out that service level. Non-store retailing, we talked a little bit about this. Vending is a very old concept, but new again. Heck, look at Redbox. Types of corporate retail organizations. Franchising is huge. Go to franchise.com. It is still a very powerful tool. And if you look at it and you think about it, really what you're buying is their marketing know-how, how to make it work. Franchise system, we're not going to cover that. You can read up on that if you're interested. Retail combinations changes. There are constant ebbs and flows in retailing. And I will get that. We will discuss that wheel of retailing. But again, if you can find an advantage out there, there is kind of infinite possibilities, especially when you link up mobile commerce and e-commerce with retail stores. There's some powerful things that can be done or that we should consider taking advantage of. Lots of decisions. This is a good list here. Who's our target market, which should have been decided a long time ago, but if you're going to open up a new store, well, who is it? What kind of products am I going to carry? How am I going to buy my purchasing or procurement practices? Prices. Well, who's our target market? What products we sell and what level of service? The store atmosphere and atmospherics. Is it a bare bones type of establishment like Sam's Club, or is it much more elegant and kind of what I would call a destination store. If you want to see an interesting store and store atmosphere, go to DeWitt Designs, which is downtown, I think on, oh, I don't know, don't quote me on the street, but it's out there. Go look. Or another destination store would be Cabela's, or this is a lot of money is being spent right now on the construction of Shields and additions to that store. So there's lots of ways to look at this, and there's no one right answer necessarily. But this is where the signals in your analysis of the target market are all powerful. Service mix, how much are they willing to pay for it? Does it add value? There's a little atmosphere for you. I think that is a Bass Pro Shop. Tips for retail space. Keep them there. Don't show them the door. It's a fine balance, though. When it says don't make them hunt, you want them to walk around a little bit. Or is their primary motivation to get in and out? This is where pesky salespeople can get annoying. So yeah, we have to be careful. Where to locate? How much money do you have? Might be another question to ask, because it's going to cost you. Private label brands that can work very powerfully, especially in the clothing world. A lot of money made in private labels. Wholesaling function. Again, in the former chapter where we talked about these things in chapter 15, if kind of depends on where you're at in the scheme of things. As far as if you're a wholesaler and you want to continue to be a wholesaler, I mean, your idea is just to move goods. But one of the things to be aware of is we want to be careful about the long-term ramifications of our decisions, because place and or distribution decisions tend to be long-term in nature, and we got to be careful because we might have to live with this. It's kind of like luggage. Once you own it, you own it for life. You can read up on the supply chain management. It's just that. There are whole degrees in this. It's moving things, and logistics as a kissing cousin. We want to move things from point A to point B in the most efficient manner possible. I mean, this is really a whole nother study in and of itself, but as marketers, we have to be aware, because this adds directly to our overhead and cost of the decisions made here. Let's see, logistics, RFID tags, radio frequency identifiers, GPS systems. IT has helped greatly with logistics and integration thereof. Massively. Packaging, we haven't talked much about that. There are legal ramifications for packaging, what you say, how you say it. So it's if you are going to develop a new product, how it's packaged might even be part of a competitive advantage. Paint cans that you can actually pour stuff out of without making a mess. Packaging might be a prime consideration in that regard. How should orders be handled? This directly faces the customer. We have to be careful. This might be an opportunity for us, how the orders are handled, because that's the last. Think about it. That's the last time you're going to see that customer potentially. What impression is that going to leave? Boxes matter. If you ever get a brand new Apple computer, how things are boxed definitely sends a message. Economic order quantity, which is what this is, speaks to optimal ordering decisions. This is also dependent upon the needs and what level of customer service you're going to have. You might order one at high cost to keep a prime customer. So, this is at least a good quantitative way to consider things. Where and how we transport, the cheapest way is by rail or pipeline or water, but do you have the volume to make that practical? I don't know. It depends. Okay, so when you read through this is a little kind of you may think this is a stretch to talk about this in marketing, but it is vital to understand. So, see you next week. Take care.